Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of African Liberation School, broadcasting live every Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is your brother, your host, Knowledge Born Alive. We are thankful for Get This Wisdom Live. If you're listening to this broadcast, subscribe to the illustrious Get This Wisdom Live, and also go to www.getthiswisdommagazine.com and make sure you make your purchase.
I'm banging black pride 24/7, 365. Not just for February. My fist tied my whole life. I'm black, 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 black. Black. You ain't digging for artifacts. And the fact that you found us while searching for your origin only left y'all lost and looking furious.
Talk to him, Dr. Clark.
He called for the unity and the redemption of the African world.
Salute them, Honorable Marcus
We
Garvey.
were not ready to listen then.
They might not have been ready then.
There's wonder whether we are ready
Ain't no doubt about it.
to listen
We ready, baby.
now.
Let's go. Yeah.
Flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high.
Black fists in the sky with the side to side. If the flag fly high, come on.
Flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high.
RBG's on the rise, all eyes will recognize.
A flag fly high,
Hold it high, let it fly. Rep those colors forever, Garvey will never die. On my 90, the throne ready, let's take a ride. Cats won't fix, men don't, choose a side. This is the path for the warriors. Seldom travel yet and still vainglorious. Black power represents us. You either rolling with Africa or against us.
a flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high.
Black fists in the sky with the side to side. If the flag fly high, come on.
A flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high.
RBG's on the rise, all eyes will recognize.
A flag fly high,
The red is for the blood. I got the best stock, the rest got sludge. The black is for the gods, melanated and elevated, holding the main charge.
It becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce to some and present to others tonight's guests. I know everybody ain't out there watching the fight, so tell a friend and tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? To get this African Liberation School on, a place where African liberators meet to share ideas and perspectives. It's my honor and privilege at this time to introduce to some and present to others my brother, my mentor, my teacher, and my chief priest of the illustrious Hiningsu tribe. Hashtag I am Hiningsu. My brother, your brother, chief priest Aankhu Benu. Hetepu, Uncle Jaseneb.
All right, Uncle Jaseneb, Hetepu. What's a good word, brother? How's it going?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm on with you. You know what I'm saying? About to, do the knowledge with you over here. You know what I'm saying? Cool Kim, this Cool Kim part 2, since they were so disrespectful yesterday. You know what I'm saying? It was so disrespectful. We got part 2 of an epic conversation that was happening yesterday, talking about this annual ancestral pilgrimage back to the land of our mother and not the land of our other. So the floor is yours. You know what I'm saying? We can get started with the fam Cool Kim Tour 2017.
Okay. Well, yeah, first and foremost, definitely I want to, say thanks, to you, Knowledge Born, for the invitation. It was always an honor and a privilege to, to come on here and to build with you and to, grace this illustrious platform, Get This Wisdom magazine. Okay. So, we ready to go in, man. The energy is high, and at the same time we're recovering from such a long trip. I say the Benu clan, like the Benu Abat in particular. We've been traveling, man, since August 1st, and we're just now getting back home about 3 days ago. So it's been a long, epic journey, and definitely we have a lot to a lot to share. We gained a lot, through the time, and we have a lot to share, with the African family, about this pilgrimage. So yeah, we're fresh. I say fresh back from the motherland, fresh back from the Nile Valley, fresh back from Kemet, from Nubia, and I'm here with that report, that report for the Africans. Okay. So how you want to do this? You just want me to start talking about it, or you got something you wanna throw at me?
How important was the tour for you and the participants, and we can go from there.
Okay. Well, just in general, the Kukim Kemet tour itself is extremely important. Of course, you might say, of course, you're going to say so because it's your tour, and you're the founder of the tour, leader of the tour, etc. So on. But as an African, right? This particular tour, this tour specifically, right? It's important that African people, continental and throughout the the African diaspora, it's important that we all make pilgrimage to the Nile Valley. At least once in our lifetime, we go to the Nile Valley. We go to Kemet. We go to Nubia, because that is our join. That's our unified classical African civilization. Okay, it is the earliest civilization on record. There's nothing that we have on record. Let me say that clearly. Nothing on record that actually predates the civilization of the Nile Valley. So it's very important for African people to make their way there. Period. Now, what makes the Kukim Kemet tour even more important for us than just going is the actual focus of the tour. It's the we always subtitle for subheading of the tour, exploring the Kemetic tradition in its African context. And that might sound redundant or asinine to those in the know, but it's actually not, because still to this very day, right, historically and still to this very day, there is an effort to de-Africanize the Nile Valley, an effort to de-Africanize Kemet and its history, an effort to minimalize or completely disregard the contributions of Nubia and the actual Nubian and Sudanese origins of Nile Valley civilization and culture. So the focus of our tour is to really shine a light, to focus primarily, first and foremost, on the actual tradition, the actual the practices, the cosmologies, the ritual motifs, of Kemet, of Nubia, and to do so in a way that shines a light on how it fits within the greater context of African culture and traditions. We are not going there and spending our time focusing on a compare and contrast between the Nile Valley culture and spirituality and the Abrahamic traditions, Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. We're not going there focusing on how the postures of the ancestors and the Neteru on the wall resemble yoga postures of India and all of that. Our focus is to go there and to take in those archetypal images, to go there and to actually read the word, to let the ancestors speak for themselves, to read the Meduniter, to read the instructions left in stone, these ritual instructions, these offering instructions, right? That you see every single step of the way during this pilgrimage, our goal is to go there and to take in these things, to take note of these things, to understand these things, and to reclaim these things, and then to understand them in the greater context, looking at that continuity and kinship of African traditions and cultures, and showing that lineage that goes from the Nile Valley throughout the African continent and the diaspora. So that's the focus of the Ku Kim Kemet tour in particular, and that's what makes it extremely important. It's extremely important that, the Africans make their way there, and if you have the opportunity, you should go with us. That's one thing I can say. You're not going to get the experience on any other tour like you're going to get with the Ku Kim Kemet tour. That's not to put down anyone else, but it is a unique tour. And one of the things that let's say some of the family that came expressed their the importance, how they see the tour as important, and actually intend to come again next year. It was that impactful that they intend to come back next year. And one brother in particular, he joined us from Canada, and he had been researching the Kemet tours, right? The various tours to Kemet, and what stuck out to him about our tour was the fact that we actually, it is the only tour that actually hones in on Nubia, hones in on Aswan, hones in on the Nubian village in Aswan, and we are the only tour that actually stays in the Nubian village for a couple of days, right? This year we stayed for 3 days, 3 nights in the Nubian village to live amongst the Nubian people, to study with them, to build with them, to sit at the feet of the elders in the Nubian village, and to learn the traditions that they've held to for countless years. We are the only tour that does that, right? And that's what makes it important, because we came back with some keys, we came back with some pieces, some links, right? The elder, he blessed us with some jewels. I'm wearing one of them. You know what I mean? This crown. I say this is not Hebrew. This is not Arabic. I say when we got back into the States, we spent about 4 days in New York. And I got a lot of assalamu alaikums and shalom and shalom aki and all of that, and which is fine, respect, but this ain't that. Okay, this ain't that. I'm not going to say what it is just yet, because there's some work that is going to go into it. I will at some point in time speak on what it says and what it means, as it was conveyed to me by the elder. But as far as what language it is, we gotta play that one close to the chest for now. So needless to say, extremely important tour, very impactful, insightful. The family that came with us, plan on coming back next year. And next year we're going to talk about next year, because we intend to do something very, very, very big for next year. You don't want to miss it. You know what I mean?
All right, so the sights and sounds, you know what I mean? You was giving us some small play-by-play, via the visuals that we saw, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, wish you was here rubbing it in type of joint, you know what I'm saying? I seen y'all walking on water and all that stuff out there, you know what I'm saying? So let's get into the day by day instead of the play by play. Let's get it like that.
Okay. So we left August 3rd, and we flew from Cairo to New York. Cairo, we didn't be our tour in Cairo. that we did. We got Aankhu Benu joining, you know what I mean, blessing us with a presence. You know, my lovely co-tour leader.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is not a mirage. You know what I'm saying? It becomes our honor and privilege at this time to be joined by our sent HAIM, you know what I'm saying? HAIC, head African in charge. Warren is in the building.
Peace,
You got to give a round of applause. A round of applause.
Okay. I say it again.
Said peace as a fool. Can y'all hear me?
Can you hear?
Hear you. Hit that fool.
Okay, good deal. So yeah. We started the tour in Luxor this year, which is something different than what we've done in previous years. And the reason for that is, we wanted to really hone in on the African, essence of the Nile Valley. Minimalize the other folk, our exposure to the other folk and the hustle and bustle of Cairo. And of course, Cairo is where the Cairo area, Cairo, the Giza, Saqqara. This is where the pyramids are, and Heru Maket, the so-called Sphinx, and the Cairo Museum is there, which has a tremendous amount of wealth and information that we need to really go through there with a fine-tooth comb. But we, in spite of all of that, we want to minimalize our time in Cairo and put Cairo on the end before we leave, Kemet. So we started in Luxor, in Upper Kemet, and let's say we flew out on the 3rd, we landed on the 4th, went to Luxor, and caught a flight immediately to Luxor upon our landing in Cairo. And then we checked into our hotel in Luxor. I say, I'm not going to say the name of the hotel because we want to keep that one. That's a jewel right there. The hotel is a jewel, so we're going to hold on to that one. So, but we actually started our tour on the following day, on the 5th. Okay, so on the 5th, we began our pilgrimage on the west bank of the Nile. This is something that we do every year, which is appropriate and in the right order. Okay, it's proper in African culture and African traditions, and to always begin ancestors. Okay, to start off with the of course the opening of the way, and then your ancestors before dealing with any of the other Neteru forces and things of that nature. So we started, we actually started in in Luxor on the west bank, because the way that our ancestors designed and organized their society, the tombs, right, the ancestral shrines and the ancestral temples are on the west bank of the Nile, because they viewed the west horizon, or the the western direction, the direction in which the sun sets, as the entrance of Ra into the spirit realm. And the Westerners, Yamintiyu, is one of the names that they use to refer to our ancestors by those that live in the West. Okay, which is another another way of speaking to the Duat, or the spirit realm. So We always begin on the west bank, and we started with the Valley of the Kings. Okay, and this is an extremely important, extremely important to part, of the pilgrimage. It's extremely important, site that needs to be visited, because first and foremost, we're talking about elaborate tombs that are actually carved into the mountains. Okay, that's number one. Okay, and in these tombs, along the walls, as you travel into the tombs, you're actually seeing the duat depicted, okay, or portrayed on the walls. The duat, the quote unquote Book of Gates. You see these texts portrayed on the walls, and the further you go into the cave, right, into the mountain, the actual further you go on the journey of Ra / the ancestor into and through the spirit realm. Okay, and it's a very, very important text, because our ancestors, they laid out in great detail the duat, the spirit realm, the organization of it, the different divisions of it, the forces that are present in it, etc., so on, and also the relationship between that realm and this realm, right? That interconnectedness and interdependence, which I talk about, to a great extent in my book, Remembering Gosser. But this is something that is portrayed, is laid out in the actual tombs in the Valley of the Kings. So extremely important site. One of the things that I have to say, okay, the Valley of the Kings is one of the I already talked about its great importance, but for several reasons. But one of the things that we noticed last year, and we noticed again this year, is that they are actually filing down. Okay, they're actually filing down the reliefs, okay, on the walls in the tombs, okay, and then going back over them, over the bare wall, redrawing, okay, the scenes, okay, based on photos, allegedly photos, in the name of artistic restoration, etc., so on. Now, this is one of the reasons why we stress the importance of coming while you can, okay, to see what you can, while you can, because who's to say that in the name of artistic restoration, okay, they won't take a little artistic liberty? Who's to say that the instructions that they've received isn't to draw, okay, the people of the time a little bit lighter than they actually were? Okay, who's to say that they weren't instructed to actually change some things and omit others? Okay, right? One of the tombs that I was blessed to go into, we were blessed to go into the year before last, okay, the tomb of Ramses III, right, which is extremely important. We were blessed to go in there, the year before last, but last year when we came, it was closed. This year, when we went, it was closed. Okay? What are they doing in there? Right? Why do I say this particular tomb is important? It's in the tomb of Ramses III that you see the relief depicting the Table of Nations, where the Kemetic people and the Nubian people are being depicted identical to one another in both dress and phenotype and skin color. Okay, it's in that tomb, right? Ramses III, the Nisu, right? Who they've tested DNA on and found that he shares haplogroups, right? E1B1A, okay, with sub-Saharan Africa, right? The Y haplogroup that is also predominant in Africans here in America, African men here in America, right? Why did Ramses III depict the people like that? Why did he have the artists depict, the Kemetic people and Nubian people identical like that? This is important, but it's closed right now. Let's say they open it up next year. What's going to be different? So, this is a very important site, once again, to get to and to visit, while you can. See what you can while you can of the original, okay? Because from what we've observed, and, my wife, she can bear witness, it appears as though they have plans to do this throughout the entire Nile Valley. It seems as though they have plans to do this throughout all of the temples, okay? Throughout all of the tombs, right? Redoing things, right? We saw the same thing when we went to Aswan. Myself and the brother from Canada, we went to Elephantine Island to visit the Temple of Khnum, right? And that's an archaeological site that's still undergoing excavations. They haven't finished digging there, but the little bit that they have dug up, okay, in the temple to Satet, the wife of Khnum, okay, right, Neteret of the expanding waters of the Nile, right? This temple, when you go in there, you see they're redrawing, okay. Some of the tombs that we went in were completely bare last year. There wasn't anything on the walls at all. They had completely filed it down. It caused some of the sisters to weep when they saw it. Okay, so very important to go see what you can while you can. Valley of the Kings, we visited the tomb of Ramses the Sixth, the tomb of Merian Ptah, and the tomb of Tahuti Mesh the Third. Okay, or Thutmose III. Extremely important, right? Extremely important, people, and very beautiful tombs. They were in pretty good shape, except the one, that the last one that I mentioned, Tahuti Mesh III, Thutmose III, his tomb had definitely been redone. Okay, a lot has been redrawn and then repainted and all of that. So, but we start with our ancestors, and at the mouth of each tomb, pour libations, pour water, and call the name of that ancestor. From the Valley of the Kings, we went to, the ancestral temple of Hatshepsut. Okay. And another important temple, there several shrines there. There's a shrine there, an ancestral shrine there for her father. There's an ancestral shrine there for her father. There's also the shrine for Aankhu, and then also a shrine for Heteru there. We visited that and got to really explain in great detail much of the cosmology, why she's depicted the way that she is depicted. There's a lot of misinformation passing around about, her depicting herself as a man or pretending to be a man and this and the third. And when you look at, the columns on her temple, she's actually being depicted in the guise of Osir, because this is her ancestral temple. And all ancestors, whether they're male or female, are identified with the Neter Osir. Okay, the elevated ancestor. All right. So those are some of the things that we explain in great detail as we go, go through the temples and the spaces, breaking down the actual reliefs. After that, we visited the gigantic statues of Amenhotep, the so-called Colossus of Memnon, which our ancestors considered to be oracular. Okay, divination was performed, statues, but this is another site where they're still digging. They found several more gigantic statues, and now they are seeing that this is actual location of another temple, and these two gigantic statues are actually like the entrances to those temples, similar to the entrance at the temple of Karnak and Luxor. Okay, you have anything you'd like to add on day one? No, good to go. Okay,
It's hot.
Okay, it was hot, right? I say, the weather was hot. I think, it was always 100 plus,
Yeah.
throughout the entire trip. But I think we did pretty good this time, at staying hydrated and whatnot than we have done in previous years. I can definitely give myself some kudos, and say droit de terre to droit amaout Osset. Okay, I give thanks to Mother Osset for the cucumbers, okay,
Yes.
for the water in the cucumbers, because they and the water in the watermelon, because it kept us hydrated and good throughout the entire time. But we checked back into our into our hotel after day one. Ate dinner and all of that good stuff. So that was the first day. Still sticking with our our order of things, beginning with the ancestors. We actually went to the temple of Seti the First. We drove 3.5 hours from Luxor to Abydos. Okay. To visit the temple of Seti the First, which is his ancestral temple, called the Osirian temple of Seti the First. Very important temple, if not, the most important temple when it comes to understanding the actual Nile Valley practice of ancestral veneration. Okay, this is a temple that was built or commissioned to be built by the Nisu, Wasser Ma'at Ra, Septep-in Ra, Meriamun Ramesses II, for his father Seti the First. And it's in this temple that you see what's called the Hall of the Ancestors. And you see Seti the First, with Ramesses as a child, standing before the list, the Imirenef, the list of his ancestors, while his father Seti, while Seti holds the incense in his hands. Okay, and Ramses reads from the list. Okay, one hand holding incense, one other hand holding water, pouring water, while Ramses, reads from the list, right, of kings, of Nisubiti. And in it you see the different reliefs, the different scenes, step by step, the actual ritual practice. Some of the images I've posted, you can see Ramses and his father Seti the First grappling a bull, preparing to sacrifice the bull before Aankhu and the ancestors. Before the opener of the way and the ancestors, right? A practice that is still carried on to this very day, something that we do annually, something that we do every year in offering a bull to the ancestors, right? You see it thousands of years ago, thousands upon thousands of years ago, in the temple of Seti the First, and that's why we go, right? We see those ancestral footprints, those ancestral genetic blueprints, okay? Those ancestral archetypes, right? Those images that we can look at and see and follow the ritual steps, okay? Read the instructions, right? And know how our ancestors venerated their ancestors when African people ruled, when African people dominated, okay? When we were winning, you see, right? Following the words and the steps of our ancestors and not smelling ourselves so damn much to think that we know better than our ancestors. This is why we go, okay? And the temple of Seti I is extremely important in understanding the Osirian tradition, which is an ancestral tradition, okay? The tradition of ancestral veneration. After the temple of Seti I, we went to Dendera, which was another drive. I don't think that one was quite 3 hours. I don't think it was 3 hours.
It was a couple hours from Abydos.
It was a couple of hours. Okay. Let's say almost 3 hours, right? We'll say almost 3. But one of the things that made the trips a little longer was the security in Kemet is very tight right now. There were several security checkpoints. We stopped at these checkpoints, several times in between Abydos and Dendera. At each checkpoint, they, check the permissions, check to see our permits, the permits of the driver, who are you taking, what are their nationalities, etc., so on. And then they'd actually, it was actually be a military escort up into the next checkpoint, which is, let's say as far as the actual security and whatnot, we appreciate the extra security on top of the security that we have within ourselves with our ancestors in the Netherrealm. But that's what made the trip, somewhat longer. And we actually went to Dendera to visit the temple of Het Heru. Okay, and this is another very important temple. Het Heru is an extremely important Neterit, right? Some people might even argue the most important, because every single thing that we do in life, every single thing that we aspire to in life, all of our efforts at the end of the day is for Het Heru to return to us, to possess her. Okay, this is the Neterit of love, of joy, of harmony, of peace, right? Of pleasure. Okay. This is Het Heru, the beauty of life, the sweetness of life. This is what this is what it's all about. So, very important temple. When you go there, you can see the beautiful reliefs depicting the festivals. One very important festival that it depicts is the Festival of the Beautiful Reunion, which is the festival that celebrated the union, or the reuniting of Het Heru and Heru Behudet, okay? Venus and Mars, if you will, or the divine feminine and the divine masculine forces of nature, okay, coming together, okay? So this is a celebration of Black masculinity, Black femininity, and the Black African family, okay, coming together for the sustaining and the perpetuance of life. This is what this particular festival is all about. So very important temple. And we left Dendera and went on to return to our hotel in Luxor. And this is actually, I want to say we checked into the cruise on that particular, on this particular day upon our return. I want to say we checked into the cruise.
Really?
Maybe not. Okay. So, okay, we came back to the hotel, and then the following day we checked into the cruise before we went to the East Bank to visit the temple of Luxor and Karnak, which are the temples of Amun Ra and his family, Amarut and Kansu. Okay. And you know, we ate good. Okay. I say, you know, pretty good in between the you know, when we stopped for lunch and all of those things. You know, we ate pretty good at the restaurants, yeah? Yeah, we ate pretty good at the restaurants. You know, one thing I can say, and I'm kind of paying for it now, right? The people there, they don't believe in vegetables for whatever reason. You know, they don't, I say, oh, their idea of vegetables are very different from ours. I say, I've never had greens in Kemet in all the times that I've gone. Never had greens. Not even spinach. Not even lettuce. I haven't had lettuce in Kemet.
But they did have spinach this year.
You had spinach?
It was like creamed or something, but I didn't.
Oh, okay. So, and if they do got spinach, as you see, they put all kind of egg and milk and stuff in it. Stuff we don't eat it, and whatnot. So, you know, but I've never had vegetables there except for like pickled turnip roots and pickled carrots and you know pickles, which are the pickles which are good because of the probiotics, and you need it. You know, when you're traveling and whatnot to keep your stomach right. But you know, the Arab salad is very popular there. It's a salad consisting of simply cucumbers, carrots. No carrots. Cucumbers, tomatoes, and shoot, that might be it.
Yeah, that's usually
Maybe onions. Think cucumbers, tomatoes, and onions.
Yeah, onions.
Yeah. So you know, it's a little different adjusting to that, and you know, making sure that you stay hydrated, and you know, compensating with the cucumbers and the watermelon and the honeydew melon and whatnot to make sure that your digestive system as well as your hydration stays on point. Okay, so you know, day 3, right? We're at the temples of Amun Ra. The temples of Amun Ra, which Luxor and Karnak, quote unquote Luxor and Karnak, or Waset and Ipit. Okay, and these are gigantic temples. It's not just one temple. Neither one of them are just one temple. Actually, none of the temples in Kemet are just one temple. All of them are complexes of temples, temples spanning back several periods. Some temples have temples there that are built over temples. Some temples there have shrines there that date all the way back to the Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, New Kingdom, late period, Ptolemaic, Greco-Roman, right? You have all these various in this one spot, and all of the, if you pick a great name, right, from our ancestors throughout the entire history, okay, thousands of years, okay, right, of history in the Nile Valley, you can find something there that those great ones built. Okay, so extremely important, but of course, there we focusing on the cosmologies, really getting into the Neteru, understanding Amun, understanding Amun Ra, understanding the cosmology and why these particular temples are on East Bank, and why the temples are constructed the way that they're constructed. Okay, why the shrine, the Hiwat Neter, or the Kari, the actual shrine of the Neter, is the first part of the temple that is built. In every temple, why is that the first part built? Okay, why is it that the lotus and the papyri are being depicted, okay, as the columns, right? And what's the relationship between those pylons and the actual the shrine, the actual block, if you will, that served as the shrine of the Neter. Okay, you know, this is what we deal with, and how each one of these things relate to the various you know, when we start talking about the outer court, and then the hypostyle hall, and then the outer sanctuary, and then the inner sanctuary. You know, all of these different rooms in the temple, and how they relate to the cosmology and the design of the temple cosmologically, as well as the actual hierarchy and gradation system of the initiation in the temple. Okay, this is you know, this is some of the things that we deal with as we go through this temple, and then we, you know, these temples, and we also, of course, breaking down the cosmology. So as you travel through the temples, okay, you know, and this goes, because, you know, this goes from Luxor, from Abydos and Dera, all the way down to, well, what you find on the reliefs are our ancestors making offerings to the Neteru. You don't really see anything else. Even the festivals are offerings. You see rituals. You see offerings and sacrifices. You see the words that are spoken as you make the offering. You see what's actually being offered by the priest or by the Nesubiti, and you see the Neteru responding to the offering with what it is that they're going to give. Okay, as a result of the offering. It's what you see, step by step, what it is you're supposed to do in each one of these rooms, what it is you're supposed to say in each one of these rooms, and what you get as a result of doing these things. From you know, Abydos and Dera all the way down into Abu Simbel. That's pretty much what you see. Right? That's not to diminish the importance. It's actually to elucidate and even to accentuate the actual importance, okay, of these places, because this is what you want. You don't want to just go and look at a history book written in stone. Yeah, it's a hell of a history book written in stone. It's a hell of a snapshot. You know, Instagram ain't got a damn thing on it, okay, on what our ancestors have actually laid down in these images. But, okay, it's not simply important because of its historical value. It's important because these are instruction manuals left in stone, play by play, step by step, what it is that our ancestors did to reach the level of civilization, the pinnacle of civilization that is unmatched to this very day. You got a step by step, play by play manual that our ancestors left for us. That's why it's important. It's not redundant at all. You go there to learn what to do, what to say, right? So that we can reach the level that our ancestors reached, and even take further, because these forces that they're dealing with, these forces that they're invoking, these forces that they're offering to and sacrificing for, okay? These forces that are informing them and enlightening them and empowering them. Okay? These forces are ever-living forces. Okay? These are evolutionary forces. You see? So it's important today to practice today. You see? To practice today. It's important. Right? Not just to say, oh, Heru used to be, you know, this is where they got Jesus from. Heru is where they got Jesus from. No. Right? That's not what's important. What's important is to learn about Heru. Learn about how our ancestors understood Heru, how they engaged Heru, how they invoked Heru, how they practiced. You see? The shrines for Heru. That's what's important. Boom, you there?
I just want to stop in mid flame to check on me. You know what I'm saying? I got my notepad up out here. You know what I'm saying? You can't be stopping in mid flame.
You know, I'm starting to sweat, and I don't want the missus to start perspiring and get mad with me. So
What?
you know, but you know, take a little breather real quick. But yeah. You know, it's important today. You know what I mean? It's important today. All right, but that's the first 3 days. You know, that's the first 3 days. Of the tour, you know, of the pilgrimage. You got anything you wanna say in regards to all of that?
The first 3 days, you know, of course, you spoke on how we can't mention the hotel, but I love that hotel. I love the grounds. It's beautiful. So whenever y'all come on a tour, y'all gonna check it out and see what I mean. Um, yeah, Dendera, I love that temple. Heteru, I love everything about that temple. It's beautiful. Um, yeah, Valley of the Kings. It's always disheartening going there, especially going to some of the tombs and seeing them remove stuff and replacing it with marker. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the first 3 days, we getting settled in, we're doing our thing, and then we check into the cruise. And the cruise is dope, cruising down the Nile. You want to speak on the cruise?
I mean, yo, it's a cruise down the Nile. Huh? It's a cruise down Hopi, right? Down the Hopi, okay? Hopi, which is interesting because you know, that name of the Neter, Hopi, right? Of the Nile River is also the same name. I'm trying to remember which language of Ethiopia it is, but it's the same name, right? The only thing is the I say the H has been lost, so they just say Opi, okay? But you know, this is I say, you know, she said the cruise is dope. I mean, it's a cruise down the Nile River. It's dope. I say that's another thing, right? And I don't want to. I'm not going to say that I'm the originator, you know, or we're the originators of the you know, the Kemet tour with the cruise down the Nile. I'm not going to say that because I definitely I peep game for someone that, you know, attempted to do tours. You know, they don't do tours anymore, but they attempted to do tours. I'm not going to call their names, right? But they attempted to do tours, and you know, I saw at one point in time they had the itinerary with the cruise. So, you know, I said, okay, that'd be cool. You know, when we do that, you know, when we go, might want to do something like that. But when I made my first trip, you know, we actually took a cruise down the Nile, and you know, I just was like, yo, this is definitely something that we want to incorporate into the tour, because you know, a lot of driving, you know, by car and by train and you know, all of these things, you know, it can get old very fast. It can take up a lot of time from your, you know, from your actual you can take up a lot of time from your actual trip. You know, like even if you have, let's say your trip is supposed to be like 18 days and you know, 16 days, etc., so on. But how much of that is actually driving? How much of that is actually driving? How much of that is you know, is actually driving in a car or on train or something like that? You know? And then how much time are you actually spending up in you know, up in lower Kemet with you know, with the Wazi and all of them? So you know, these are things to think about. But our cruise is very, very, it's very important. You know, very beautiful, I should say. You know, I say, you know, give us, you know, we're given, or we have you know, three, full board, I should say, full board. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And, you know, it was like 6 days. 6 days, or 5 days, 6 nights down the Nile River from Luxor all the way down to Aswan. And, you know, we stop, the ship stops, you know, in, Edfu, okay, Behudet, right? The ancient name Behudet or Mashin, also Jeba, okay? All different names of Heru. Heru Behudet, Heru Jeba, Heru Masin, okay? Heru Behudet, right? Behudet is the actual correct name of when you see the sun with wings, okay, with the cobras protruding from it, that is actually Heru Behudet, okay? You know, it is a symbol that is placed over the doorways of the temple, the entrances of the temples to ward off evil. Okay, and there's an entire tradition that centers around that symbol and why it's placed over the doorways. You know, I hear some people saying that symbol represents self-mastery, this, that, and the third, and you know, they're making that stuff up. You know, it sounds good, but that's not what it means. You know, it's we stopped there, right? So we talked about Behudet, the other name of the location, Heru Masin, or Heru, the harpooner or the blacksmith, okay, the metallurgist, right? Heru, the blacksmith and the harpooner. So this is Heru of the hunt, and Heru the metallurgist, the craftsman, okay, and of course Heru Jeba, which means, you know, Jeba is a term in Medunatel which means payback or retribution. Okay, this is the Heru of vengeance and justice. Okay, the avenger of his ancestors. Okay, which is what African people need. African people need Heru Jeba, right? We run from Heru Jeba, right? We need Heru Jeba, right? Don't run from Heru Jeba. That's a part of your culture too. That's a part of your spirituality too. You can't, I say, African spirituality is not a pacifist religion. It's not a kumbaya, holding hands with every damn body religion. Okay? Right? We need Heru Behudet, Heru Jeba. Okay? So, you know, we visit, right? The ship stops, okay, in Edfu. You know, we visit the temple of Heru Behudet, and, you know, this is the Natel of war, great Natel of war, great Natel and protector of Ra, right? The son of Ra, right? This is a different Heru than Heru, the son of Osir and Aset. This is a different Heru than the son of Osir and Aset. Okay, this is Heru, the son of Ra Heru Kuti. Okay, this is Heru, the son of Ra Heru Kuti. This is the uncle of Heru, the son of Osir and Aset. Okay, when he's associated or identified also with Heru War, the son of Nut, brother to Osir, Oset, Nephet, Sutes, etc., so on. Right? This is the way we make sure that you understand the cosmology and understand these forces. Understand it, and in understanding these forces, you come to understand the qualities, the nature of them, and you can even feel these forces in these locations. You can feel these forces in these temples. Right? In the city, you can feel the forces that the temples are built and dedicated to there. Okay? So we visit the temple of Heru Behudet, you know, the most well-preserved temple in all of Kemet. And then, you know, that's a very important temple for me, as, you know, I'm a son of Heru Behudet. Heru Behudet is the Natel that rules Maika, Okay, and you know, this is I say this is always an opportunity for me to come and to pay homage to my Yitta, to my father, and to pour libations at the temple, and to perform Hindu at the statue of my father, and to shinta, to prostrate and kiss the earth. Okay, so you know, this is a very important part of the tour. You know, I can say it went rather smoothly this year in Edfu, because you know, usually because of that energy, right? That warrior energy that is Heru Behu, that usually something pops off. Okay. You know, when we're in Edfu. This time I think everything went smoothly, and actually for the first time we actually got off the ship the night before we visited the temple. And you know, kicked it in. You know, we actually kicked it in Edfu. You know, smoked some shisha, right? Some hookah and whatnot, and you know, and had a generally good time. And you know, actually, I think we actually walked into the well, you know, Edfu is predominantly African anyway, but we walked into like the African, okay, part of Edfu, you know, where we sat and had hookah and whatnot. So that was pretty dope. Then we you know, of course, we get back on our ship after visiting the temple, and we go to you know, to Komobo. See, if I'm trying to figure out if I want to share the story of you know, one of the stories from the temple of Edfu before we go to Komobo. You know, what we looking like on time, Bon? We got time for that?
Yeah, we're good, man. Let's get into it.
Okay. So we got time for that. So you know, there's an important story depicted on the outer walls. You know, or let's say one of the outer corridors, if you will. You know, of the temple, that depicts you know, Heru Behudet going to war with Sutesh. Okay. And it's important because it depicts also at a particular point in time Heru Behudet being joined in battle with you know, by Aset and Heru, the son of Aset, right? Speaking to the differentiation between Heru Behudet and Heru, the son of Aset. So you know, it's important in that regard. You know, but the story, the tradition goes that you know, Ra was traveling in his boat with his Sequeded, his navigator, Tahuti, and you know, Tahuti noticed that all of Ra's enemies had surrounded him and had conspired to attack. His enemies were all around him, conspiring against him. So, you know, Tahuti advised Ra as his, right, Nech-Nech-Newoti, right, the advisor to the one Lord, Tahuti. He advised Ra, okay, to call on, right, to invoke, to call on his son, Heru Behudet. Okay, Heru Behudet comes and he takes on the form of the sun with wings, and he shoots up into the sky, and he emits a heat that's so intense that it said it caused Ra's enemies to go blind, deaf, and dumb. Say that they couldn't see, they couldn't hear, and they couldn't speak. They were so confused that they begin to fight and slay one another where they stood. Okay, and as a result of that, Tahuti, he advised Aset, okay, and Heru, the son of Aset, to place the symbol of Heru Behudet, okay, the sun with wings, over the entrance of all temples to commemorate the victory of Heru Behudet over the enemies of Ra in that particular form. Okay, that's the tradition behind that symbol, right? But then, you know, after these enemies are slain, you know, Tahuti, he points in each direction out. He points out the enemies of Ra, and Heru Behudet attacks in each direction. Then comes Sutesh and his followers. Sutesh takes on the form of a hippopotamus. Heru Behudet is joined by his followers, Meshniyu. They number 10, okay? Meshniyu, or harpooners. And on this temple, you see Heru Behudet and his followers, his Meshniyu, traveling in boats, spearing, okay? Spearing Sutesh in the form of a hippo. And they spear him, right? And Sutesh dies. And then he comes back, right? But this time he's a little smaller. They spear him again, and he dies, and he comes back a little smaller than before. And they spear him several times, and each time that they spear him, he dies, and he comes back smaller, ultimately until he's about this damn tiny, right? And they spear him again, and he dies, you know. And this is one of the only times that you actually see Sutesh killed, okay? Because there's an actual depiction of him being slaughtered and carved up like a sacrifice, and being this, you know, him as a hippo being carved up and disseminated amongst the Neteru, and they feast on him after the victory and triumph of Heru Behudet. Okay, so a very important story, you know, in that it lays down the actual meaning of the great symbol of protection over the portals, and then it also speaks to the relationship between Tahuti and Ra and Heru Behudet, and also the fact that you know, in actuality, you can never permanently snuff out or eradicate evil. It'll always come back. The idea is to keep it at a minimum, because, you know, duality is the foundation of all law in the universe, and existence and experience in life, and all of these things happen through it and by way of it. So you can never eradicate evil completely. You can never eradicate darkness. Light and darkness, they're intrinsic. Good and evil, they're intrinsic. So the idea is to keep evil small, keep it to a minimum. So, you know, just want to share that you know, that piece right there. But you know, from Edfu we go next. We sail to Komombo, right? Ancient name Nubiat, meaning gold. Okay, and you know, this is still to this very day the largest gold mine in all of Kemet, under military control, of course, you know. But it's the you know, it's the largest gold mine in Kemet. But here you find it's a very ancient site, and you know, it's actually one of the locations where you find some of the earliest remains in the Nile Valley, and, you know, early settlements and whatnot. You know, pre-dynastic periods, you find it there in you know, that in that area. But in here, this place, you have the double temple for Heru War and Subek, which is, you know, it's a very conflicting energy. Very you know, because these two, they're kind of, you know, in some instances adversaries. When Subek want to do his dark side thing, right? If he's not doing his you know, his own Heru thing. But you know, very important temple still, because it has you know, it has an important festival calendar feast calendar there. But once again, it's keeping in true with everything that we've actually experienced. As far as the energies there, I've never been. Let's put it this way: I've never been to the temple at Komombo, and have not experienced some type of conflict with the actual guards there. Okay, following us around, trying to see what we doing. Oh, you can't do that. Don't touch that. Don't go here. Let me see your permissions. Are you the leader, etc. So on. Let me see your permit. I've never been there and haven't experienced something like that. That's Sebek energy. He gotta challenge you. That's his job. Okay, make sure you sharp. How you gonna handle it? You see, that's his job. So he did his job again this year, and we handled it well, so that we could proceed with it without any problems. And then after that, we went into the Sebek Museum, which houses the mummified crocodiles that served as the sacred animals, the actual sacred animals for the Neter Sebek. This is and that's important because our ancestors really did pets. Okay, and still to this very day, the people in Nubia, they really do pets. Right, the people in Luxor, they really do pets. Right, they got pet, crocodiles, jackals. Okay, or the properly labeled Egyptian wolf. Right, they got these jokers as pets. Okay, but traditionally, right, historically, our ancestors kept them to serve as living vessels of the force of nature that express themselves through that particular animal. So, they actually mummified when these animals would transition. They actually mummified them. Okay, preserved them, and they received the same rites. Okay, that you would perform for your ancestors. Okay, so very important, space to go in as well, the Crocodile Museum. But after we leave this temple, we return to our ship and we sail overnight to Aswan, Nubia. Okay, and when we get to Aswan, Nubia, right, we visit the temple of Aset, the beautiful temple of Aset, the island of Philae. Okay, and very beautiful temple. Aset, is a beautiful force in nature, right? The divine mother, right? Maternal force par excellence, right? Master healer amongst the Neteru, master healing force. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful temple. We had a beautiful experience there. People were very, very welcoming. Which is been an experience generally throughout, throughout our time, throughout our pilgrimage, except for two places, and I'll talk about them. I already mentioned Komombo with the buddy there, but outside of that, it's a little experience in Saqqara we got to talk about. But it's a the Temple of Aset is very beautiful, and Aswan is Nubia. So once you get to Aswan, that's when it really hits home. Like, Africa, right? These are African people still here, right now. Very African, many of them, more, as far as the actual the blackness, right? Blacker than us. Okay. But at the same time, you can find folk that look like your neighbor up across the street. Look like your uncle. Okay. As a matter of fact, in the Nubian village, the elder, he looks at each of us and he tells us one of the classical Nubian groups we belong to. You point to you and say, Tigray, Gubati, okay, Konom, Konombo, Noob, right? A Nuba, right? Okay, he looks at you and looks at your phenotype, and he can say, yo, nah, I say, yeah, you're Nubian. You're Nubian. So when we get to Aswan, we actually, we stay one more night over the ship. We usually hit the markets real tough in Aswan, hitting them fresh natural juices. You know what I mean? Drinking them fresh teas, the hibiscus tea, right, which is called the Sudanese flower. Okay, the hibiscus flower is called the Sudanese flower, and I love it. Right, we always bring some back with us, and have enough to drink on until the next time we go usually. But we hit the markets to drink the fresh mango juice, the fresh sugar cane juice, which is a favorite of this lady here. Right? She loves the sugar cane juice. I love it. I didn't drink as much as I usually drink this time, but
I didn't either.
Yeah, I think we cooled it on sugar cane, a little bit, but I was sticking with the mango juice to keep my stomach and whatnot good. If you have problems with your stomach and your digestive system, and you want to balance things out, mango juice, family, mango juice.
Not from concentrate though, right?
What she said, not from concentrate.
It gotta be natural and 100% mango.
100% mango without a cut. You know what I'm saying? And if it's fresh, even better. Okay, I actually did have fresh mango juice several times, but I had some fresh mango juice in the Nubian village where on the one boat where the sisters were dancing and whatnot, and the brother actually juiced the mango right there on the spot for the cheap, right? But this is like when we get to Aswan, it's like, yeah. We visited the temple of Osset, and that was beautiful, breaking down the tradition as it pertains to Osset and beautiful temple and what have you. But when we get to Aswan, it's like we're home. We stay in Aswan, right? We live in Aswan. We stay in the Nubian guest house in the Nubian village, Garib Sahel village. Okay. We actually live amongst the people, and we make connections and form relationships with the people there, right? We come there, when we got to our guest house, and when we walked in, the brothers, they was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you know what I mean? Because they remembered us from the times before that we've been. So, it was refreshing to see our family there, and we actually stay there, and we eat the Nubian food, which is it's a little different. Yes, it's a little different. I dig the way that they do the eggplants. I like eggplant. I like the fried eggplant, and I like the tomato-based eggplant.
Like the okra and tomato.
Oh my goodness, yo! How you say? It is a fact. It is a universal truth that African people worldwide put okras and tomatoes together, sautéed, or pan-seared, pan-fried okra and tomato together, stewed okra and tomato together,
banging,
like we do down here in the NO. You heard me? You know what I mean? I say it is a universal African truth from West Africa all the way to the Nile Valley that we do the okra and tomatoes. So that's one of the things that we had in the Nubian village that that's really good. We had a great time. Our guest house is beautiful. It's sitting right on the Nile with a balcony where you can actually walk out to the balcony and you look and you You right there, you looking out over the Nile. You can go down and swim in the Nile River on the sandy beach, the mountain, right? The sandy mountain beach thing that is right there on the Nile, right? You go out there and swim. We didn't swim this year. We swam last year. Well, I didn't swim. I put my feet in the water.
I almost got taken by Hopi.
Yeah. Hopi almost took her last year in the little whirlpool, but she was good. She was good, and but this year, we actually took the family down, to the river, and we made offerings to Renenutet. Okay, the Neteret of the harvest, right? The Neteret of wealth, of money. Okay, we made we made an offering to Renenutet at the water, performed her invocation in him at the water, and sung her chant, as well as did an invocation for Heru at the Nile River, at the water. Okay. Yes, sir, boy. You can grab that thing for me.
Well, I just snuck in real quick. You was talking about Renenutet. I was like, okay. Hey, Ruben. hey, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. This is something
one of them songs from back in the day. They got one of them songs from back in the day say no romance without finance. So you got to put two of the two together. You understand what I'm talking about?
I say this is true. This is true. True words have never been spoken. We I say this is one of the things that we do that is I'm going to say different, right, from some of the others, and I'm not going to say, once again, some people go and they do their. Hold on 1 second. We're trying to find this adapter for this laptop before it kicks out, maybe. One of the things that we do that's different, like some people, they go there and they do their yoga rituals and things of that nature, which is fine. Our ancestors wasn't doing no yoga. There in those spots, that's not what you see on the walls and whatnot. But it's a nice place to, I think Hatha yoga is good. And, even one of the sisters that came with us is a yoga instructor, and, she had a beautiful time, and she found a spot where, she can even do, some yoga retreats, right? To, encourage good healing and whatnot along the banks of the Nile River, taking in that fresh air and that Ra in the Nile River, in the Nile Valley. So, I think it's a overall good thing. But one of the things that we do differently is that we actually perform rituals at the river. Okay, we perform rituals. We do chants at the temples. We pour libations at the temples. We go in the shrines and actually pay homage to the Neteru and whatnot, which is something that like I said, we actually practice the tradition. We're not just going to sightsee or to look at relics or things that are no longer relevant or no longer living. I say, and we're coming there and doing this thing for real. And I actually got I ain't gonna say got cussed out, but I say I got an inbox. Unexpected from a brother that we connected with over there. Getting on, he's kind of getting at me. He's getting on me for in his words, believing in the religion of ancient Egypt, right? you know, because of course he's Muslim. He's like, how come you believe in these, or if it is true, why isn't it practiced amongst us? Why are we why are we not doing it in such so long? I didn't respond. I didn't respond. I expected more from this brother in particular. But I also see why the divination discouraged. The divination advised against us working with this particular brother. You know what I mean? Because we do have a native guide that we partner with that handles the logistics for us there. He organizes the transportation and the cruise for us, and when he's available, he gives us a brief history of the location before we go into the actual temple and deal with the tradition and the cosmology and the spirituality and the rituals and whatnot. So, there's a brother that's been asking that we met and we got to speak. Rameri and I, on our first time, we were able to capture him on video, and the video was very powerful and whatnot. And I say emotionally, you wanted to work with this guy, but the readers never gave him the go ahead. And he asked, "Yo, can I carry your program? Can I carry your program?" The readers never gave it the go ahead. And then finally, the reason why it never gave the green light on him revealed itself upon our return here. I guess he was upset, so he's like, "Yo, I'm about to tell you what I think about you and your comedic practice in spirituality, this, that, and the third." You know what I mean? But I can say that one of the things that when we come there and we actually do our rituals, we actually do our libations, we pour libations to the ancestors at their actual shrines, at their actual tombs. Pouring libations to Ramses the second at his actual statue. Pouring libations to Heruimheb at the mouth of his actual tomb. To Hutimesh III at his actual tomb. Okay? Pouring libations and placing offerings into the Nile River for Renenutet at the actual river. Invoking her, reciting her hymn at the actual Nile River. Throwing our offerings into the Nile. Right? Invoking and singing and chanting to Heru and taking in her beauty as we look at the ambiance of the river in Aswan and take it in totality with the actual experience. Like, this is what we actually do. So, it's a unique experience. Okay? It's a unique experience. You're not going to get it anywhere else. Okay? Then, like I said, we stayed in the village for 3 nights. And we met with the Nubian elder that we go there to study with every year. We go there to spend time with him, to sit with him and to learn from him. And he never disappoints. He's the only one that knows the old Nubian writing. I can't say I'm not at liberty, or let me take it back. I am at liberty, but I'm refusing to actually say what the writing is. But this is the writing on my hat, right? This is some of the writing on my hat. This hat, this crown that he gave me. Okay, he gifted me with, and I say, the meaning of it, the color of it, everything on point, just with the actual tradition and practice. We'll talk about that in a second, but he's the only one that knows this writing. he's the wise man that lives on top of the mountain. Okay, and every time that we go to meet with him, we have to walk up, you know, because the village is already in the mountains, right? We have to walk further up the mountains to you know, get to his home, where, you know, he has, you know, he hosts his students, you know, and you know, teaches, right? So the elder, he is a diviner. He is a seer. He's a natural seer. He informed us that this is a gift that he received from his mother's line. Okay. Although both his mother and his father gifted him with juju, he showed us the juju that had actually been placed in his hands, okay, through cuts. Okay. You know, and you know, we were able to exchange that kind of information, and he was, you know, he was like, you know, we truly are family. You know, he you know, he of the language, you know, because I would, you know, definitely prefer to speak to him and to learn from him in the actual language without a translator. Translators can be problematic, right? The guy this year was okay. He was okay, right? You know, he's a good guy. But I would prefer to be able to get Shaban, you know, direct. You know, he shared a lot in terms of the history and the different schools, and this is the way that he spoke to the Nubian parlay with the Abrahamic religions as they would come in. The Nubians would treat them as, you know, a school of thought, okay, or as a school, right, in different grades in a school, and but they maintain their Nubian juju, okay, and their practices throughout the entire parlay, and even brought them in and camouflaged them in the guise of whatever religion was dominating at the time. So, you know, they have different meanings for you know, for various symbols that may be popular in each of these quote unquote religions. But you know, I can say that one of the things that really stuck out in you know, over the course of the past several years that I've gone, and this particular year as well, is that I can say the practice of, you know, ritual and spirit possession is very, very important, very high in the tradition of the Nubians to this very day. You know, ritual and spirit possession as a means of receiving information from the divine, you know, receiving information, attaining enlightenment and union with the divine, as the divine. This is a part of the practice to this very day. Something that is practiced throughout the entirety of the African continent. Don't matter which direction you wanna look or go, you're gonna find this practice. You know, and you know, so that was something that he shared. You know, once again. And then he gave us you know, a few more things, you know, some more things I should say, as it pertains to juju. Okay, you know, kojur, right? It's one of the words that they use to speak to juju. You have bukur, okay, Bukor, which is the word for the actual the root magic, okay, that they use. But then you have Kojur, which is a word that means to fasten, or to latch on to something, or to reach on to something so that it doesn't get away from you. Okay. Then there's another word, kakar, which is another word for juju. Okay. He said some rituals. I'm not at liberty, okay, to actually to speak on those rituals publicly. Right. It's just, that would be irresponsible. But those techniques, I should say. But this is something that, once again, you want to gain access to this information, you have to make the trip. You have to make the trip over. I'm going to be working on some projects with the elder. So that's something that you can definitely look forward to. But we also visited Abu Simbel Temple, the temples of Ramses, and his Hamat Nisut Warit, right, his great warrior wife, Nefertari. And these temples are two temples dug or carved into the mountains. Definitely, one of the great wonders of the world, for sure. These temples are dedicated to Ra-Heru Kuti and Het-Heru. Okay, and something that definitely, once you go to Abu Simbel, it's like an exclamation point on the entire trip. This is the southernmost border of Kemet proper before you actually enter into the Sudan. Okay, which is what we intend to do next year. Actually going further into the Sudan, extending the tour and going into Khartoum and hitting Khartoum, Merowe, Dongola and Napeta, if we're able to make sure that the logistics are right. So I say after Nubia, right? We fly to Cairo, and we hit Saqqara, we hit Giza, okay, the Great Pyramid, Khufu, right, and the pyramids of his son and grandson, of Ra and Min Karu Ra, okay, and the Egyptian Cairo Museum, okay, which is very important because especially when you go into majority of these monuments are what you call Old Kingdom monuments. And when you go into the Old Kingdom exhibit in the Cairo Museum, you see that the focus is primarily on ancestral veneration. You can see the actual Kari, right? The actual ancestral shrines, okay? In Saqqara, okay, you can see the ancestral shrines, and I'll be posting images that I took in Saqqara of the actual shrines, and the shrines for Wanis, okay, the Nesubiti Wanis, who is very, very important and famous as his text that venerates him as an ancestor, the so-called pyramid text of Wanis, which is the oldest spiritual text on record. Okay, this particular text is the oldest spiritual text on record, or the oldest so-called religious book or text in the world. Okay, this particular text, is extremely important in understanding the early cosmology and rituals of our ancestors and ancestral veneration, and the elevation of our ancestors as Neteru, as forces of nature, right? This is what we find. So we were able to see the different shrines, okay, and I got the pictures. I'll share some of those as we go forward. in the promotion of next year's tour, and also opening registration for next year's tour very, very soon. Very soon. We're gonna open up the registration so that you guys can go on and get it in. But from let's say in Cairo, we go to the museum, Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, New Kingdom. We see the of course the famous exhibit of Tutankhamun, right? Who I respect for trying to restore the ways of our ancestors, okay, after the great heresy that his father, who was born Amenhotep the Fourth, who changed his name to Akin Yatin, okay, Akin Yatin, and tried to do away with the tradition of the ancestors and paid a great price for it. It's very important. Akhenaten, his story is very important in understanding the consequences of disgracing your ancestors, of neglecting your ancestors, of trying to destroy your ancestral traditions. When you read about Akhenaten and his obsession with his own religious ideas and wanting to be, a renegade and whatnot, you see that he paid the price for it. His wife, Nefertiti, who was not a native, Kemetic woman, she was from up north, one of them folk, one of them wazis. You know what I mean? She disappeared without a trace. No one knows what happened to her. Several of Akhenaten's children died. Okay, and he lost his mind and lived his life as a recluse. And he became so upset with the Neteru and with the ancestors that he began to destroy the monuments and the statues and the names and the images of the Neteru, and even so much so to where he even scratched the name Amun out of the name of his father, Amenhotep III. He scratched the name of Amun out of his father's name. You see, so he paid the price for it, and during his reign, the nation was on the verge of collapse. These are important stories, right? I say at Giza, right, or actually at Saqqara, studying we see the step pyramid of Djoser, which was designed by the great Reki Iket, knower of things, Imhotep, okay, who was the Thati of Djoser, right, the vizier or prime minister of Djoser, okay, or the chief priest and chief diviner of Djoser. We talked about the story of the 7-year famine in Kemet, in which the nation was under great famine and on the verge of collapse, and Djoser, right, after looking at the condition of the people and the land, he says that his heart turned towards the past, right, and he began to contemplate the ancestors, and begin to wonder where was the birthplace of the Nile, because that he knows that his ancestors came from the birthplace of the Nile, right? And he began to study, or he began to wonder where's this place, right? So he reached out to someone he figured would know, the chief Quarty head, chief priest of the sacred literature of Tahuti, right? Imhotep, right? Imhotep. And he asked him, where's the birthplace of Nile? Who's the Neter that lives there? Right? Guess what? Imhotep had to go into the into the house of the net to perform divination, to get the information, because he didn't know. Right? He had to perform divination to find out. And he came back with the Baru, right? And informed Djoser, Neterket, right? Neterkat, right? God body or Neter body, Djoser, okay? Which also means holy or sacred, Djoser, right? right? Joser, Neter Kat, right? Divine body, or the body of Neter body, right? Speaking to that ancient Nile Valley, ancient Kemetic knowledge of self, okay? Imhotep informed Joseph of the location of the birthplace of the Nile and the Neter that lived there, and the offerings and sacrifices that need to be made. And Joseph made his way there at once, and he found the temple of Khnum in shambles. And he went to actually perform the rituals and sacrifices, and he did his invocations, and he went into a trance or dream-like state in the shrine of Khnum, and Khnum appeared to him and spoke to him like, I am Khnum, your maker. I am the one that holds together your limbs. Look at all of the things that I've given you, all of the raw materials, all the things that I've done for you. Yet my shrine is neglected. The temple is unfinished. You're not using the materials that I gave you, right? But since you have remembered me, since you've come and you've made sacrifices, I am going to cause the Nile to burst forth for you. I'm going to put Renenutet on the case for you. And no more days of famine, no more days of lack, no more days of decay and disease. The river's going to flow. The trees are going to bow under the weight of their fruit. And the people are going to embrace you and love you because you've remembered me. Speaking, this story is very important in speaking to the consequences of ancestral neglect, the consequences of forgetting where you came from. Joseph forgot where he came from, so he had to ask Imhotep, who's credited as the first multi-genius, where did our ancestors come from? Where's the birthplace of the Nile? And Imhotep didn't know. Imhotep had to perform divination. He had to consult Tahuti to get the information. And they had to go to the temple, to the shrine of the Ba, of Khnum, right? And perform ritual and sacrifices to atone for the neglect. You see, to return life, prosperity, health, wealth, fertility to Kemet and to the people. So these are the stories, these are the traditions that, just a few of them that we deal with during the Kukim Kemet tour. And that's the recap of the Kukim Kemet tour 2017 in a very long nutshell.
Yeah, it was so vivid and so pictorial with the words. See, the power of the griot is to be able to shape take something, leave an imprint in your mind so you can see it. So I can visualize every place that you've been, the experiences that you shared. I could even go to the water and smell the sand and everything. You see what I'm saying? So you paint pictures with those words, GG, over there. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a longing. It's like homesick feeling. It's like a homesick feeling, because I've been. You see what I'm saying? And when you hear a story about some place that resonate with your spirit, it's like home. Like you know what I'm saying? So you reminiscing and you going through all of the manifestations in your mind, like, bam, you know what I'm saying? And to know, I've been there. You got some of the experiences, but you ain't get them all. Like, damn, I should have been on the Kukim tour. From Jump Street, back when I ain't at imagining the place now, 12 years later, it's been, you see what I'm saying? So just, listening sounds and we get, back through to talk about the tour. You know what I'm saying? There's one and there's another to experience it. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, for the family that's out there,
Yes, sir.
that listen to the, you know, you've seen a lot of the visuals of this magnificent video come out. You know what I'm saying? And ramping up for Aankhu Kim, because we blink twice and we come out. You're doing the recap up. You know what I'm saying? Be there. So, you know, for make sure, you know, when it's registered, you know, you don't drag your fear. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Each person responsible for bringing 10 people, man. Let's do it big and right now. You see what I'm saying? Let's go home. You know, find a new for the family out there.
Yes, sir. Yo.
Yo.
Okay, I say you kind of broke up at the end.
Yeah, you know how they do, Jig. You know what I'm saying? I said, final thoughts, anything, last things you want to share with the family, you know, shout out anything, anyone you need to shout out, all that, Jig, you know what I'm saying? The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, definitely, I want to say do why, you know, thanks, you know, much thanks again. You know, and love to you, good brother Nihilus Bond, right, for once again inviting us on the platform to share with the family, you know, about our experience. You know, it is the experience of a lifetime, and you know, I've been blessed by Nater, by the ancestors to go, you know, several times now, and you know, I say this looks like it's in my shai to take African people there as long as we can. So, you know, I want to encourage you. You know, the family that's tuning in, you want to make the Cool Kim Kemet tour. 2018 is going to be epic because it's already epic. It was 13 days, 13 nights this year. We're looking to expand it possibly a whole nother week. Expanded an entire week to go into the Sudan, to go to Khartoum, to go to you know, to Merowe, to go to you know, go to Merowe, to go to Dangola, to go to Napata, okay, to see you know, what the ancestors built in the Sudan, to follow the trail. Okay, you know, if you didn't get a chance to check out my lecture on Nile Valley culture on YouTube, visit my YouTube channel, you know, Aankhu Benu, AANKHBENU. Visit my YouTube channel and check out the first 2 parts of the Nile Valley culture series, and in it I talk about you know, an exploration that took place in the 60s, in the early 60s, right? That was carried out by the University of Chicago, and there was a man by the name of Bruce Williams that was on that expedition team into the Sudan, in particular to you know, Coastal, okay, the location known as Coastal, and in it, they visited a cemetery, which they've labeled Cemetery L. And in this cemetery, they found the remains of 12 Nisu, 12 kings, okay, predating Dynasty 0, going back at least, I want to say it was 10 generations, 10 to 12 generations. Okay, they found the remains of 12 Nisu, and they found that all of them were already identified with Heru in their kingship before Dynasty 0, before Dynasty 1. Okay, before the unification of Kemet by Mini or Narmer. Before Dynasty 0 with Zerk or Scorpion and all of them. Okay? Nubian kings, Sudanese kings, right? They found the language, right? The formative early stages of what became Meduniter. So we want to go. This is why we spend time in Nubia amongst the Nubians. This is why we want to go deeper into the Sudan to get closer to those origins, right? And next year, that's what we're going to do. We're going to start in Luxor, go all the way down into Abu Simbel. Okay, we're going to fly to Cairo and hit Giza and Saqqara and the Cairo Museum. Then we're going to fly from Cairo to Khartoum. And we're going to go from Khartoum to Merowe, and Merowe to Dongola, and Dongola to Napata. You see, you don't want to miss this. This is history. We're living and walking in history, making history with this tour, with this pilgrimage. You're going to get information that hasn't even been accessed yet. When we drop the bomb on the language from this elder, it's going to shake up the damn planet. Mark my words. Okay? So you want to be on this trip. You want to be on this trip. We're going to open up registration very, very soon. Okay? Very, very soon. And to prepare for the trip, I encourage you to check us out. Check out our work to stay, to stay up to date and abreast to everything, registration, the itinerary, the work that we're doing and the work that we're going to be releasing soon. Okay, you want to keep up with us. So visit the website www.heninsu.com. Shout out to Heninsu, Uncle Jason Air to Heninsu. Okay, Heninsu Abat. All right. You want to definitely check us out. So that's www.heninsu, HENENSU.com, www.heninsu.com. On the website you can check out what we're doing, check out my work. You get a chance, you want to get the book Remembering Gosser, 666 pages. I go on these trips, I document, I come back and I put in work and I make the work available for our people. So you want to get that book, 666 pages about the actual practice of the tradition, trying at all costs to stick to the script, not adding nothing, making up no self-style wisdom or none of that. You know what I mean? We come in with the words of our ancestors, all of the practices, how you dedicate and open the mouth of the shrine, traditionally, the sacrifices, the taboos, the offerings, the invocations, the hymns, the renew, everything, okay, is in there, right? Right? It's no, I say we're not pulling from this country, from this race, other race, non-African race, this non-African culture. We're not pulling from this one or that one. We're doing it the way our ancestors did it, the way that African people still do it, right? So you want to check it out, right? I encourage you to check it out. And when you come on the tour, you'll be, as our ancestors would say, as one well equipped, well prepared, sepid, okay, sopid, okay. You'll be as one well equipped, well prepared, sharp, ready, okay. So that being said, I want to say, definitely once again, that Ku Kim Kemet Tour 2018, exploring the Kemetic tradition in its African context. We're going to take it to the next level, and we got other pilgrimages that we're planning as well, right? So stay tuned for that as well. This hat. Just to drop this, it says, the elder in the Nubian village, he gifted me with this. It says, Ale, right? Ale. And You know, this Ale, it means the real or the truth. That which is real, that which is true, that which is right. Okay, that which is just. It is synonymous to ma'at in that it's has the exact same meaning as correctness or being right or being correct, being straight, being true, and being real. All of these things being included in the meaning of Ale. Okay, Ale, as he would say, Ale. Okay, and that's a little gift from the actual Nubian tongue right there, and this is a little glimpse of the Nubian script that we'll be dealing with in the very near future. So I'm gonna drop that right there. The color is on point to that sky blue, right? Because when you're talking about truth and you're talking about reality, that which is real, that which is on point, that blue and white, right? You know, is associated with Tahuti, is associated with Ma'at. Okay, so even the colors are on point for the meaning of the actual phrase, word that's written on this beautiful crown that the elder gifted me with. So, you know, Dua Neter, Dua, good brother knowledge born, you know, for the opportunity once again. And you know, I say I think I'm good to go.
I just, you know what I'm saying, I appreciate the time. Salute to the head African in charge. I sent Warbeck, you know what I'm saying, coming through, corroborating that story, you know what I'm saying, in the most righteous manner, you know. Salute to my tribe, Heninsu, you know what I'm saying, the Yabat out there for tuning in, showing love and doing what they do, you know what I'm saying. We definitely got to have you back on African Liberation School one time for Kemet, you know what I'm saying. We got the tour recap out of the way. Now we could get back into what we was dealing with, you know what I'm saying, before we got the ramping up for the tour, and you know everything pointed to the tour. So definitely looking forward. You know what I'm saying. I did one time for Israel. You know what I'm saying. So I definitely got to do one time for Kim. You know what I'm saying.
Uh-oh. I say I'm glad I didn't see that Israel joint.
So I let everybody do what they do, man. You know what I'm saying. So hopefully I get a shout out from the Abat tomorrow. You know what I'm saying. On our 2-year anniversary, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My brother Tahir RBG will be in the building. My brother Sutek Amin Ra will be in the building. Shakti Everlasting Peace Earth will be in the building. All of the fam, all of your bot come out showing some love, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna ramp this energy up right in the most righteous manner. We're gonna venerate our ancestors. We're gonna promote the knowledge, skills, abilities, talents, and creativity of our people. And we're gonna wield the destruction of our enemies at the same time. So that I'm gonna say peace, love, black power, Bibi Houdie, to the family that's listening, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna roll up out of here.
Dua Neter.